Nice little sparkle. I'm out at the place I go to a lot where I've found lots of different rough massive habit beryl, including some red color specimens, which really isn't supposed to happen, but as I described, in a hyperbisal environment where you're on the fringe of extrusion, the only difference between granite and rhyolite is the depth at which it cools. And as long as you've got manganese, which you have in morganite, which we have here, you've got everything you need to make red beryl. So, let me see, I found a little bit today. This piece was, again, it's really rough, so most people don't find it interesting at all, but I do, because beryl is beryl, even if it's rough massive habit. This one, a little bit of pink. We also got the yellow gold, which is a heliodor type of beryl. Again, rough. And a little bit of red right here on the end. So it's all coming out of this little hillside right here. And I get a lot of people that'll post, oh, this guy is just posting a bunch of quartz. And I find that somewhat amusing. It's like this person hasn't done any research yet, they are deciding to talk. Interesting. The trigonal system, which is quartz, is very different than the ring silicate system that is beryl. Since quartz is in a triangle, they can all interlock together seamlessly. There's no gaps. And also there's no cleavage like there is with rough massive habit beryl. And also beryl is more, I'd say, sparkly. Some people like to use the luster term of greasy versus oily. Now quartz is greasy and oily luster. Beryl has a sparkle, and that's something that you get used to after you see more of it. See a little there. If you know the difference between the quartz of luster and the quartz of beryl, this is a really good example of what beryl luster looks like. But with the ring silicates, they stack on top of each other. It's almost like a tires. And it's not perfect, so it'll allow for cleavage along the basal C-axis. That does not happen with quartz. Quartz does not produce any cleavage along that plane. So here's another rough piece. You can see all the different sections. That's just due to beryl's ring silicate system and how it allows impurities in between. And also, I think it has to do with its cooling here. We're on the fringe of extrusion because granites up here, that's where these are coming out of. The granites are a intrusive igneous rock, which means they cooled under the surface slowly. But as you start getting up closer to the surface, it gets closer to rhyolite, an extrusive granite, which is where red beryl is found. And one thing I've noticed over here, a lot of times when I see this color rock on the exterior, I know the other side is going to have some beryl crystals and potentially other stuff as well. And beryl doesn't necessarily only appear in the pegmatite itself. See, here's a rough beryl right there. You can tell by the streaks. There's a lot of different characteristics you can tell visually after you get used to it. Not a great piece. But it doesn't occur directly in the pegmatites, but a lot of the times it's in the host rock next to the pegmatites. So we've got pegmatites all throughout this area. It's basically a pegmatite field that we're in. And about, I don't know, 10, 12 miles south of the Little 3 mine as the crow flies. So that's a Ramona mine. It's very popular for producing morganite, as well as spessartine garnets. The other thing is, we are about 60 days away from the winter solstice. So for those of you who have not been watching my channel, I found a celestial marker of 2 large stones. They have to be several thousand pounds each. And there's a gap, which I'm going to go measure it because the distance between the gap may be significant itself. But in between the gap, on the winter solstice, the sun rises right in between it. I submitted a report to the Forest Service because it's on their property, and I submitted it to the Kumeyaay Band of Indians. Based on what I've found, it is what they describe as Spirit of the Mountain ritual site. There's not just one, but many, and I think this is one that has been lost because there are no records of it. Anyways, I'm leading a hike out to it on December 21st. If anyone wants to join me, send me an email, reach out to me on YouTube. My email is published on my YouTube page, and you can come see it because I think it is really cool. All right, let's see if we can get one of these guys out.